Are you having problems with foam in your beer? If you are, keep watching. I might have an answer for you. Hi everyone, welcome back. It's Larry again. I'm going to talk about foam in your beer, in your home draft system. And odds are, if you're watching this, you're having a problem with your home draft system spitting out tons of foam every time you go to pour a beer. And you're probably scratching your head about what to do about it. Well, I'll tell you, there are a number of factors involved, but primarily there's three of them that are most common. It's either your beer's too warm, your pressure's too high, or your beer line is too short. Now, the beer is too warm issue. Turn down your fridge. Don't use draft towers. Draft towers can have warm beer in the line, for example. You're better off having the tap inside the fridge, so the beer stays cold all the way out to the tap. The pressure. A lot of people try to work around this by lowering the pressure in their keg, but all you end up with is flatter beer. And who wants flat beer, right? Now, the other option is your beer line length, and that's most likely the most common reason that people overlook, actually, because most of these home kegerator systems that you can get at most retailers out there, they actually only come with like 3 to 4 feet of hose, and that is not enough. I can tell you that right now. You need at least double that, maybe more, and I'll explain why. And that would probably be your best fix. So unfortunately, when you buy these kegerators, they don't come with the hose length long enough, and what aggravates the problem are all these websites out there that they seem to copy one another. Somebody came up with some rule of thumb, that you have your tubing length equal to something times divided by whatever, and it is off by a factor of at least 2 or more, and it's just terrible. So I did stumble across a website of this guy named Mike Soltis. I think that's pronounced his last name right, and he had a nice little blog article. He's a PhD guy. Now, full disclosure, I'm an engineer as well. I have a PE license and I've done fluids. I've taken classes in fluids and thermodynamics as well. And this guy though, he applied this thing so well. And he's got a little calculator on his website that you can just punch in the numbers and it spits out the length. And I tried this out and it fixed my problem. And I had to triple my hose length from like 3 or 4 feet to like 10 or 11 feet. And it fixed the problem. Now, the reason why the tube length is important, because the longer the tube length is, the more resistance to the flow at the tap, right? So you can actually have a higher pressure at the keg for your bubbly beer, but then you slow down that movement of the beer down the line through friction in the tubing. So when it comes out, it's actually at a pourable temperature, and it doesn't lose all the CO2 out of solution and foam up, and it comes out really nice. So what I did is take this guy's his article and the equations he referenced. I came up with a spreadsheet. This spreadsheet I'll put in the video description down below. You can download this, play with it all you want, punch in your variables, and I've done this as well, and I've just validated or revalidated my own homebrew system with these new numbers on the spreadsheet, and they come out exactly right. So, but basically, you need to address the temperature, the pressure, and the beer tubing length. And I have not seen much of this online. So here I am trying to do the community a favor, and let me show you a printout of this spreadsheet, at least for now. So here's a look at a hard copy of my spreadsheet that you can download. And everything in yellow up here are your inputs. Everything in light blue is calculated, and I have reference information for the equations used in case you want to proof check my work, as well as some assumptions made, because this can get really complicated if you try to solve everything dynamically. So I made some assumptions about the serving temperature being about 40 degrees Fahrenheit, for example, right? And a reference at the bottom to this guy's article, which is really great. So let me zoom in here. So your inputs for this thing are the pressure in the keg that you would like to have. Now you can come up with this pressure number now by the amount of CO2 you want in the beer, And for home brewers, that's known as the CO2 volumes. So for like American ale, you might use a 2.5 volume number, which at this temperature I'm using of 40 degrees would be about 10 to 12 psi. So I put 12 psi in there, and that's going to make it nice and carbonated. Then the final gravity of your beer, which for me, I went through back. You have to go back through your home brewing records, but I have a 1.010 average. So I have some that are 1.008, some 1.012. So, but I'm not going to change the length of my beer line based upon this every time. So I just assumed an average, and also the vertical distance from the center of your keg, your vertical center of your keg, to the tap spigot. So for me, that measured out to about 2.58 feet, almost 2.6 feet. And your inside tubing diameter, so it's 3/16 tubing. The absolute surface roughness of the tubing, which is hard to find. I actually just went online and found a value for general PVC. This could be wrong, but hey, this is some information is hard to find. And your desired flow rate. Now, this guy Mike on his blog had a really great idea. Rather than trying to come up with a PSI at the tap, which is a lot of these equations do, he made it even simpler for the end user, where he came up with this idea of how many seconds does it take to fill a pint. So you pull the tap, you count to 10, or you count to however long it takes to fill up the pint, and that's your number in there, and that's a good, decent pour. I've actually timed this. That's actually right on the mark. So you put these values in, and let the equations do the work for you. And what you'll end up having here, let me zoom in here. Here we go. Is for my homebrewing setup, which is on this spreadsheet, the length of tubing to use is 10 feet, and I think my kegerator came with like a 3 or 4 foot hose, and obviously that's insufficient. And even some of these other websites, you go online, you punch in these kind of numbers in to their rule of thumb guidelines, and they give you like anything from 2 feet to like 4 feet, which is ridiculous, because through experience, it's not right. So I use 10 feet. Now my keg system's balanced. It's got the carbonation it wants, and it comes out just right. And to show you that I'm not kidding here, this is 10 feet and an inch or so of my beer line all coiled up here that runs all the way up into my draft tower above my kegerator here. And now that I've switched it to 10 feet length, I get just a perfect pour at about 11 to 12 psi. So there you have it. Follow my directions, download that spreadsheet, calculate this thing, or go to the guy's website and just punch in his calculator. It's basically the same thing. My numbers were probably off by a quarter of a foot from his values. Maybe my assumptions on my spreadsheet were a little different than his. I can't see his equations because it's just a web calculator. I can't see the formulas behind the scenes to validate mine against his. But I use mine. I use his. They're within 10% of one another. Either way, try it out. See if it solves your problem. Most likely it will. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out other videos on my YouTube channel, and don't forget to subscribe.